Oh my
Must be
gosh,
a
what
reason.
did I
I
do?
don't know why. Yeah, both sides. I don't know. It's weird.
You guys are good. Okay, thanks for your patience. I think.
Okay, shall we begin again?
Yes, we
or-
can.
Okay. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for coming. Seriously?
There's no audio on what? On YouTube?
There we go.
Okay, we're good.
Okay. All right. So I'd like to call the meeting to order for the Monday, March 24th, 2025, for the Town Pools Project Building Committee at 6:38. Do we need to say the Pledge of Allegiance again?
We never said the pledge of
We never
allegiance.
said,
did.
yes, we did.
Oh, we did.
Yeah,
Oh,
we
sorry,
did.
I guess.
Yes.
Covered.
Like, okay. And we did the roll call.
Yeah,
So we're looking for somebody to make a motion to approve last month's minutes.
I move to approve last month's minutes.
We have a motion and a second. Do we have a
Second.
second? Second, all in favor?
aye.
Aye. Okay, motion passes. Public participation. We can have either participation via Zoom or on the microphone right up here. Come on up.
The chairs are in front of me. Hi, Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard Avenue. I was just wondering, you said that you're going to have excerpts from the resident survey. If there's a way we can access that, or if you can just let us know where Parks and Rec and the pool, well, where the pools fell. Well, the survey was for everything, and I was just wondering where the pools fell in line with everything else, like open space and all that. That's it. Just curious. Thank you.
Leave it out. Thank you, Dana. Chairs are attacking me. Bill McCarthy, 206 Churchill Drive. Thank you, committee, for meeting once again. I think that it's wonderful that we're planning on doing everything from the beginning again. I just wanted to especially thank Jonathan for putting in this link in the agenda with the archive stuff. I've never seen so much data in my life. And you guys have to read it all. I can peruse it. You guys have to read it. So I guess the questions that I have are, where the money for the RFP is coming, the $30,000 for the RFP. Is that coming out of the budget line item in the CIP for pools, parks, recreation of 200,000? And then the referendum, to go to referendum, I seem to recall last time that it was like $3 million or something like that. If it was below 3 million, that we didn't have to go to referendum. And then there was a percentage or something like that of the total budget. I just didn't know what those numbers were any longer. And I like that there's a little bit more activity on Facebook now, recently, like within the last 24 hours, of people inquiring about the pool committee and what's going on. And some people are totally amazed that you guys are even meeting again. I think you're doing a wonderful job, and I applaud your efforts. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you come up? No? Okay. Anybody else? Do we have anybody online?
There's nobody online.
Okay. Going once, going twice. Ready. Old business, consideration of the evaluation of the condition of the pools. There was a brief little summary that we were all provided with, and it should be in the packet that you guys got. Regarding the pool contractor who looked over the pools. If anybody doesn't mind, I have some questions to begin with. I was kind of curious who this guy was and what his qualifications were.
Yeah, it was a company called like Superior Pools, and they're more of a like concrete contractor rather than maybe a pool engineer architect. You know, I don't have the, as I say in the memo, I mean, it's one observation does not, you know, is not a trend. So it's and he didn't have, you know, just visual inspection with some water with leaves in the bottom of the pool. It's hard to really, and he didn't inspect the, you know, the piping and things like that. So, you know, he didn't do the hydro, the water, you know, the water table test.
Yeah.
So, you know, his conclusion was it does look better than other pools he's worked on. He gave the example of Waterbury. I guess they won the contract for Waterbury a couple of years ago, and they went out there and they took a look at the pool, and it was immediately they could say it was unrepairable. They did say it was salvageable, but again, with a caveat that they weren't doing any testing and, you know, weren't looking under the hood, so to speak. But, you know, so I think, regardless, I think it's one of those things, if we want to, this is the direction we want to go. Like we talked about, what you asked the last meeting was some sort of, let's talk about doing another evaluation of the pool. I think the key things here is, you know, it's going to be expensive. Even if it's not $30,000, it's going to be close to it. So it doesn't matter, you know, the RFP is good just to have an open process so you can find the most qualified, best bang for your buck kind of company that has the best, it's this most qualified for this company.
Did we pay this guy to come out?
No, it's just a free
So
consultation.
was he like for lack of a better word, a pool painter? Or was he?
I said it was
Yeah.
like somebody who does, you know, concrete
Pools,
work
yeah.
on pools.
Okay,
Yeah.
and so he didn't look at the pool house or the mechanicals or the
We did go
skimmers?
inside, we did go inside the pool house, but you know, he's not looking under the hood. He just sort of visual inspection of what he saw there.
Okay, and the other question I had was, his suggestion, it said, was to wait till August, so as not to disrupt the maintenance schedule for the spring.
Yeah, because they got to do the coring into the concrete to make sure, you know, it's the integrity of the concrete's still there.
Mhm.
So to do that while Bill's setting up the pool is just couldn't create problems for the summer season. So his suggestion was to hold off on any evaluation until, you know, mid to late August.
It just seems that over the years, that's been done before the pools have been opened, like we've done it before. And I didn't know if it was something that we could do in the next month and a half or 2 months or so without disturbing things. I don't know the exact sequencing or time allotment that's required. I assume that depends on the condition of what they find after a winter out in the cold, but I know it's been done, you know, that the core drillings have been done before because they've had to do them because they've had to find leaks and things. So I didn't know why that was gonna have to wait, but
That was I'm not going to
It's one
pretend,
guy's
Eileen, that I'm an
suggestion.
expert on
Yeah.
pools or construction.
I got
even.
you.
But that was broadly, I think it's fair for me to generalize, there was broadly agreement amongst the grounds crew, you know,
Okay.
the folks that work on the pools every
Mhm.
day and that
Mhm.
contractor that
Mhm.
what they said made sense about the time.
Mhm. And the only other thing that I would request, whatever, is that if we do have, you know, when we do hire someone to come in, is it possible to have members of the pool committee there so we could be educated?
Absolutely.
Okay, I think
Yeah, yeah.
that would be a good thing for those of us that might be
now,
available.
but now you're talking about after if we go out to RFP and
Yeah.
then,
Yeah.
well, certainly, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah.
I think that would be nice, so we would have a better understanding of what's
Absolutely.
going on. We could have our questions answered. Anybody else have anything they have questions about that? No, no.
So I guess I think I'd be interested in having an RFP so we can come out and study the pool. I mean, I think that was the problem with the past in the past, the committee had this rush to judgment to, we couldn't fix the pool. We had to build the pool here. We had to do it this way. We had to do it this way. And without any looking at what the condition was, other than it's bad, we gotta fix it. We gotta tear it down and start new. I think we owe it to the public and to the taxpayers to see what the condition of the pool is. And if we're gonna really start from scratch, we really need to start from scratch and
that's both pools.
and both pool and do both pools. We can't, you know, the idea that we're just gonna do one and just take everybody's word for it, I think is wrong. So I, you know, I know it costs $30,000 to do that, or could cost $30,000 to do that, but in my own home, I wouldn't say I need a new driveway without having someone come out and tell me I need a new driveway. I wouldn't just say, I think I need a new driveway because the neighbor said so.
Mhm.
I would have somebody come out and tell me I need a new driveway, and then I would get an estimate and have somebody tell me I need a new driveway. I don't think any of us would do anything different.
Mhm.
Um,
I think in defense there, I would say that there were plenty of evaluations done, and every season before it opens up, having been on the Parks and Rec Board for a million years, you know, something was always broken, something was always done, something had to be dug out, patches of the deck had to be you know, so we've been hearing it for many, many, many years. But I do agree that yes, we need a comprehensive study from the ground up and start over, and that's the way it needs to get done. Unfortunately. So where is that money gonna come from to pay for that?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I mean, to Mr. McCarthy's point, there is $200,000 in the CIP budget for pool stuff, but that's really intended for getting the pool ready, the patching, the painting, those kind of things, not a study. There's not like a line item for it, because this isn't something that was on our radar to do until like a week ago
Mhm.
or a month ago.
So does this have to go before the council to be approved to get that money, or where are we gonna find
It's
it?
certainly, I mean, we're in the right season for it. If we're gonna, you know, add money into the budget, this is the time to do it.
So it would have to be presented as
So I
part
mean, I
of the
can
budget.
certainly coordinate with council and
Okay.
Janet Murphy on this.
Mhm. That would be great.
Do we need to make a motion to forward it to them, take a vote from the committee that we want to have this move forward?
Well, I mean, what I would suggest, if you want to move forward, you make a motion to authorize the RFP to be sent out or something like that. That doesn't obligate you to actually fund the study. It doesn't, you still have an opportunity to interview the respondents. So, yeah, so that's what I would suggest. If that's what I would, if you want to move this along, that's what I would suggest you do. Make a motion to authorize the issuance of the RFP.
So we wouldn't have to go to the council until we knew what those bids came back as, and then we would ask the council for that kind of money?
No. So right now we're in the budget season. So
Right.
like, as I said, separately, I can coordinate with Janet and council and leadership about, hey, if this is something we want to do, we need some money for it,
Okay,
for next year. All we're talking about here is literally just authorizing the issuance, like staff to issue the RFP so that we can get respondents that
Mhm.
provide proposals.
okay. Is this RFP considered old business or new business? This
I
is
put it
really-
under old business because we talked about
Okay.
it last time.
Okay,
We talked about doing an evaluation, so this was the follow-up of that.
yep, okay. So, hopefully people have had a chance to read through this RFP. Are there any questions, any changes you'd like to see, anybody? Yes,
Read it.
I think, sorry, go ahead.
I was reading it
mhm,
and I think the history or the background
mhm,
leans too much towards Mill Pond. It mentions Mill Pond over and over again and how the vote was. And
No, different RFPs. That's a different RFP.
This is a new RFP,
Yeah.
but just this, this is the Friday email.
Yeah, I thought I printed off the Friday email. Yeah, I am mistaken.
Churchill's hitting under the D of draft. They had the same thing. Like, it's still.
It's the one that's in the pack.
Then. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I printed off, so I'm reading it. I'm like going, I thought we talked.
No, so it says, talks about both the use of
Okay,
both ponds.
that-
There's two pools and swimming pools. on-
Beautiful, because so. Recycle.
Okay, any other questions?
Just
Concerns?
give me 1 second. I had
Yep,
some,
go
I
ahead.
had a note and I left it at home on my desk because unfortunately I cleaned out my notebook, my briefcase this afternoon. So the goal would be for these people to come back with us with the recommendation of on both pools, whether it's feasible to repair or replace, because that's correct. That's my understanding, right?
That's my understanding.
That's our understanding. Okay.
I think the biggest cost driver there is item 5. The evaluation shall include construction plans for needed repairs.
Right. That's what
That's the, that's the big.
Right. So do we want to put something in here? This is also something I saw on the old one about, look at the entire park facility. Right? I mean, Mill Pond's expensive. So if they said, they went on there and they said, I'm just making stuff up, don't quote me on this. But they look at the pool and they said, you know what? Those soccer fields off of Willard Avenue, perfect.
No, this is only about an evaluation of the current facilities. It's just, is the pool in good enough shape to repair? It's not about an evaluation of other options.
of where we would put it. It would, so
Yeah.
we just wouldn't count. If they came back and say, we can't fix the pool at Churchill, they wouldn't come back and say, we want to move it someplace else. They would just say, we can't fix it at Churchill. That's all they're
So
gonna
then
say.
they're- So if they say they can't fix either pool, then there's a second RFP that goes. on.
Correct.
Correct.
Just right.
Yes.
Just say what we're gonna do
Yes.
about.
Okay. All right.
I think it's different kinds of experts in those fields.
Right. It would be a different,
Yeah. Different guy, not
a
a
different,
plumber, mechanic, whatever. it
a
would be.
different expert, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Mhm. Okay, anything else? Concerns? You good? No?
No, I'm good.
You sure?
This is
Well,
just the
it's-
RFP.
It's the
right?
RFP for the current locations and the structures of the pool and the concrete
Yeah,
piping.
yes,
Nothing else besides that
correct.
in the current location.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it would also be the pool house and the pumps and the, everything that,
It's.
Whatever is currently
Okay,
there.
it does say
Yeah.
bathhouse.
not
Attached
the
to pool.
park, but just anything that makes the pool go.
No, I thought
Yes.
it does say bathhouses as well.
Yes. Other than that, I think we're good. Okay, so can we make a motion to send that RFP out?
I make a motion to move forward with the RFP.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed? We're good. Beautiful. That was easy. Okay.
Do you have to report it as?
Unanimous.
Carol.
Oh, with minus
Minus
one,
one.
minus Carol,
Carolyn
sorry.
is not here.
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. 6-0. Okay, so to review the previous pool-related reports is next on our new business.
There was a lot to review.
Oh, there was a lot.
I hadn't looked through these previously. I'm sure a lot of you already have and were familiar with it. So there was a lot to look at. Going back to 2013, I focused more on the one from 2020. And it was really nice having this little chart here that just kind of that gave them the codes, excellent, good, fair, poor. Unfortunately, there was not one excellent in there. Just a couple goods, mostly fair and a lot of poors. Especially for Mill Ponds, looking at the two the differences between the two and looking through everything. But going from 2013 to 2020, those two, what was mentioned in 2013, were a lot of those issues addressed? Like, I noticed there was a lot of information about the amount of water that was leaking from Churchill Park in 2013. I'm hoping that was addressed after that was done. And, I've heard that it's still happening. Hopefully they did some work on it in those years, but it still seems to be a major problem for Churchill.
As far as I know, the issue was addressed, Parks and Rec addressed it. It's not 100% fixed, but it's much better than it was.
That's my understanding, that
Yeah.
there was some of the leaks at Churchill had been addressed and had been resolved with some underground piping work
Yeah,
done.
they had to do a lot of.
That resolved the issue.
Yeah,
Well,
And-
that's good.
and that's the same as with that mill. I can't do it until public participation, sorry.
So just not about that at all.
Mhm.
Just wondering, is it possible for someone to share a screen or present to people at home the data that you're?
It was on the
Well, I mean,
website, links on the
so-
website.
I'll tell you what, I can do. When we get to public comment, make this comment and I'll walk you through there's so much that it's not, to do it right now wouldn't, yeah.
Okay.
Well, I'm glad a lot of that was addressed. I know it's still a problem. It's not perfect, nothing, I mean, it's far from it, but it's good to know at least some of it was addressed because, it was pretty
Significant.
poor. It was very significant,
Yes.
so.
Yes, agreed.
I don't think there's any doubt that both pools need work. I mean, I think if there's one thing we can agree on is that both pools need some serious work, but both pools need serious work. So I think that we can sort of agree on that.
Yep.
Were any of the ADA compliance addressed was that something that was also addressed? From the 2013 to 2020, I'm
I,
not sure.
going back to
That wasn't-
previous, I don't believe that there were,
Okay,
because once you start down that path, it just
Yeah, I know.
balloons,
Hmm.
right? And it's an existing structure, so you don't have to make it.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
about
once
the-
you start, you have to go all the way.
There's,
Not a good excuse, but I'm just saying,
okay, yeah.
right? It's not like,
I understand
Yeah.
understand what you're saying.
There are
But
chairlifts
that's-
available in each pool so that
Mhm.
somebody can get in or out. Is it as convenient or easily accessible as if there was a zero depth entry? No.
Mhm.
But that's one of the ways. The bathhouses themselves are very difficult for anybody to get,
Yeah.
that, in or out of. In a wheelchair, it's a struggle. There are, dressing rooms and a shower available. There must be a toilet too.
Yeah,
I
there is.
can't-
There was,
right.
I know on the mill
the
pond on the
men's
men's
side,
side, there is
yeah.
a toilet.
Yeah. But as far as if you were in a chair or something, doesn't really mean it, I don't think, but I'm not
Okay.
an expert either, so I don't know.
Thank you.
Yep. Anybody else? Concerns? Anything else we need to talk about? No, we're good? Nothing else in those reports? Okay. So moving on, we're back to public participation again. Anybody else want to say anything?
So there's two hands up online too.
Oh, okay.
And also, before you get in, do you want me to just show?
Yeah, when I
Folks.
show this,
Okay.
So if I just
That's
share,
fine.
I'm sorry.
Yep,
Dana, just give me
that's
one
fine.
second here. So I'm gonna go to, let's see here.
Yeah, I know it's online. I just figured there'd be more.
Yep.
comments, So it'd be helpful to have the comment and the visuals.
Okay.
I didn't realize it was only gonna be one thing, sorry.
why would you get Scott on speed dial?
So I'm gonna go share my screen here in a second. Share. And then. No, up there. Let's go on there. There we go. Okay, so if you're in the town pools project building committee page, if you go to this this thing that says documents, this part of the page that says documents, it says view presentations and plan documents. This is where we're posting all of the stuff here. So these top four reports, Weston Sampson, Churchill Park, Weston Sampson, Mill Pond, Owens for both two. Those are the reports that the committee members have been referencing tonight. And as you'll see, if you go into any one of them, they're approximately 25 to 40 pages long. So they go into a lot of detail. And you know, but actually it doesn't take that long to get through them because there's a lot of repetition, a lot of pictures, but there is a lot of information out there. So
Yep.
That's all. Let me go
Okay.
get out of share screen.
And the other thing that's on there. Oh, is it on there? I can't read that far away.
Oh, sorry.
Is that is the survey included on there or did
I
we
didn't
just
put the
get that?
survey there. I
We just
can
got
put
it
the
on
little
our
excerpts
thing.
'cause
Yeah.
it's, I'll put the survey up.
Okay.
Plus the Owens report we looked at too. I thought was pretty interesting.
Mhm. Mhm.
What report?
The Owens
Owens.
report.
That's the 2020 report.
Okay. I think the little lady behind you would like to come up and talk if that's okay.
Sure.
You ready? You can do it. Come on. How you doing?
Good. Calliope Campbell, 259 Robbins Avenue.
I'm sorry, could you say your name again?
Calliope Campbell.
Calliope? Oh, cool. Cool
A
name.
beautiful name.
Yeah. And Calliope, what was your address again?
259 Robbins Avenue.
Thanks.
I just have a couple of questions. So, well, if we start from scratch and will we like move the pool at Church Hill far away from the dump, or are we gonna keep it right there if we start from scratch?
Okay, keep going.
If one of the pools can't be fixed, will we like never have that pool there again, or would we just like make it another one in a different spot?
Okay.
And then if we need a pool fixed, will it affect the kids' summer pool time? Thank you.
Those are very good questions.
Yeah.
Nice.
How old are you, honey?
Want a
Good
job?
job.
We have a spare seat.
Good job. Okay,
Fully
next,
Carol
come on up. We'll get to your questions when everybody asks theirs. We answer them all at the end.
I'm gonna go online first, because it did here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead. We got somebody online?
We have two people online.
Okay.
We have I think that's you, Miss Lyons, yeah, ending in 281. Sorry, I gotta unmute you. Sorry, I'm slow on the uptake. Dick, you're allowed to talk. 281, go ahead. A caller with a phone number ending in 281. Okay, I guess.
Yes, that's me. Can you
Okay,
hear
Kevin.
me?
Yeah,
Yes.
we hear you.
Hi. Yes, my name is Allison Malerba. The address is 114 Wilbur Drive. I grew up in Newington. I left and I came back. I am also someone that has a degree in recreation and park management, specializing in disabilities. I'm sorry that I couldn't be there in person, but I did want to just comment, just I guess a little bit on food for thought in terms of planning moving forward. I know you're at the earliest stages of having a reevaluation of the pool locations and viability. I was wondering if, one, there had been a needs assessment done with residents about what their needs were and what they were looking for in terms of pool needs in Newington. So that's one question. And then the other two are just comments in terms of disabilities. When I think about safety and liability, the location in the last proposed referendum is concerning, being on Garfield. I'm not sure what the plan would be for parking, but if the assumption is to use the parking lot across the street, you're increasing liability as well as ease of access for families to cross to and from to the pool. And also in terms of the wall, the climbing wall that was mentioned, again, thinking about liability, you absolutely need an ADA compliant pool, but I guess those are some of the thoughts of how were these things arrived at? Were these actually done through needs assessments? And is there a plan for that moving forward?
Thank you. Okay.
Dana Havens, 113 Stoddard Avenue. I was just wondering if anybody like asked that construction concrete gentleman who was here earlier, because we did boring tests for both pools in 2013, and like, are those still probably the same since, when they did the borings originally, they were already 40 years old, and they said that they were structurally sound and you could just put a new pool right where it is, new liner or whatever. So I'm assuming that those borings from 2013 might actually still be accurate. And also, when you go out to RFP, can you also request that the way that it was done in 2013, where they had replaced, repair, replace, or expand, the three different options, if they could do the same way, because I think that would be a great way to make a comparison in cost and price and all that. Let's see what else. Oh yeah. Also, zero entry pools are lovely, but as someone that has worked for over 30 years with people with mobility issues, both professionally and my own family, it doesn't work for everybody. So if we do end up with a zero entry pool, please know that you still need to have a chairlift to get into that pool, because the at-home equipment can't go rolling into the pool. People my size, it's going to be very difficult for somebody to help me into a zero entry pool. They're going to need to roll me. I weigh too much. So I just don't want you to think that zero entry is all you need, because it does not work unless you're set up like the Hospital for Special Care. They're set up. They've got walkers and wheelchairs that are waterproof, and they can put their patients in those. But I can't put my residents' chairs in there, or their walkers, or their AFOs. So they're going to need, total physical support. All right. Thanks.
Anybody else? Anybody else online? We have one
Yeah, there
more.
is, I think it's Miss Lyons ending 070. Let me unmute you here.
Can't have a meeting without Rose.
Nope.
Hi, Rose Lyons, 46 Elton Drive, and while you were meeting, I looked at the report from Great Heron, I believe it was, and at the May 23rd, 2023 meeting of the Town Council, they reported that when the residents, they're talking about, when asked about issues that should be top 3 priorities for the town to address, over half, 53%, indicated preserving open space, over a third, 37.8%, preserving town character, and 34.6% minimizing environmental impact for developments. When ranking the level of interest of facilities under consideration for development, pool reno, not building pools at Mill Pond and Churchill were most preferred. And then it went on to explain what was, or the other facilities in the list. I think what you have to understand here, if you don't look at the survey, or you look at the survey and you just say, oh, pools were the top priority. Yes, they were the top priority for the Parks and Rec Department, multiple choice. Rank them in from 1 to 10. Every department did the same thing. The senior center, what would you like to see? So as you're planning what you do for the pool, take into consideration the 3 top issues that the residents want to see addressed, and that's preserving open space, preserving town character, and minimizing the environmental impact. I totally agree that we need to do something with the pools. I have never disagreed to that, but how you go about it and where you put it, I think are what is going to either make it or break it this time, and I sure do hope that it makes it this time. And I hate to stir the pot, but I'm going to here because the PAC that sent out information during the referendum couldn't be more adamant that these pools were ready to fall apart and that we were jeopardizing the residents and we didn't care about the residents, those of us who were opposed to the pool project. If in fact that is true, why are we opening these pools? I know that our insurance company came out a couple of years ago after the final Mill Pond Pool Committee meeting, and they didn't have any problems. So I just want some reassurance that when we open these pools, there's not going to be any problems for our residents or our children. Thank you.
Thanks, Rose. Anybody else? Camera? No, we're good today? Nope. Just came to listen? Okay, good. All right. All righty. Comments by committee members. We'll start over on this side. Go ahead.
Thanks for coming, guys. I know there wasn't a lot of discussion when we were talking about the old reports. First, I don't think there was a lot of merit in going over the old reports. Like our whole thing is that we're going to start fresh. So I don't understand the need to harp on the old reports really. They definitely provide a lot of great context. So I suggest Jonathan showed everyone where to find them, give them a read over. They paint a terrible picture for the state of our current pools, to be honest. So it is good context as to why we need to do all of what we're doing right now. But getting into the details of it all, I don't see the merit in doing so. Because we're going to get a new report and it's going to have current up-to-date context. You know what I mean? So why have a hypothetical discussion about this kind of stuff? To address some of your questions, with the young lady there. So if we start from scratch and we move the pool away from the dump, if they find that we can repair the pool in its current state and we don't have to move it, then it's just in the same place. So it'll be right next to where it is now. If we can't and they recommend that we have to move it, then I really can't answer whether or not it will be moved or if it closed down. This comes down to like a whole bunch of things like money, like what people want. So it's like a little too early to know that. But if that's the case, I can guarantee that we'll do our best to make sure that we can have enough schools in town where everyone can be happy at least. And then other than that, I am just really excited to get the results from the RFP. So that we can have a very meaningful meeting with actual stuff to talk about. That's it.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to get some young folks in here talking about pools because ultimately, no offense to anyone else, because I'm getting a little old too. These are the people that are going to be in our town for many years to come. And I would love to see them more at the table. So thank you for coming. Hopefully we can maybe encourage more people to come that are younger because, that's ultimately what it's all about. I think keeping the pools in a place where we can be proud of them and use them for many years to come. So I appreciate that. Besides that, I am looking forward to the RFP. See what information we can get out of it if that goes through in budget season, I guess. That is a caveat, but not really my call. It's kind of your call for now, so. Thanks.
Well, they were very helpful to me to get more background, even though I knew they were gonna be, bad reports but just to get an idea what I'd like to see in the next report. I loved the charts. Hopefully there's something very, clear in the charts that were provided in the 2020. And I will echo Ms. Haven's suggestion. I liked that there were the three options with estimates. So hopefully we'll get something like that as well. I thought that was very helpful to be able to, you know, we have to have several options to look at and make the most educated decision from there moving forward. And yeah, thank you, everyone who's here tonight, especially you. Yeah, it's nice to see the youth come out here, and I want to hear what everybody has to say and someone from your perspective, because you're swimming in them. So that's good. Not everybody actually uses them. So everybody's concerned about the money part of it, but we want, you know, the people who use it, how you feel about it too.
Okay. You're next.
I'm all set.
You all set?
Just one question that wasn't answered. You said that if you asked if we had to replace one of the pools, would there be an effect on summer camp? And there would be an effect on summer camp, obviously, because we'd have to replace a pool. So that would mean we might have to jockey some kids around for a brief time while we move people, you know, summer camp around. Because unfortunately, the only time you could fix a pool would be over the summer when we had to move people around. So we would do our best to keep that to a minimum. I know my grandkids use the pools in the summer, and if they found out that grandpa closed the pool down in the summer, they would probably be I would probably not get invited to the birthday parties anymore. So we would do our best to try to keep that to the bare minimum, but there would be some, to be honest with you, there'd be some jockeying around, because we'd have to have some downtime to repair the pools or to move the pools or whatever we have to do with them. Just like now, if a part breaks, we have to close the pool for whatever reason. And I think that's unfortunate, but we have no choice. Even if it had passed referendum in November, there would be a shutdown while things happened. Even though the pool is going to be built in a different location, there'd still be probably shut down while equipment was going through, and there'd be some kind of a disruption of the park routine anyway. So we would keep that to the minimum, because I understand the campers. I was just at a Parks Rec meeting, and the campership is almost sold out. I think
Pretty busy.
it's a record number of campers in the summer, and we're certainly aware of that. I am glad we are starting from scratch. I'm glad we're looking at the pools currently. I'm glad we're looking at both pools, and we're looking at the condition of both pools, and not just rushing forward with one plan and trying to just move ahead with one cookie cutter plan, because that's where we think we should put it. That's where somebody told us we should put it, and that's where we think it's best. I think we are taking a serious look about, as one caller said, that liability of having the parking on one side of a street and having the pool on the other side of the street. That's a disaster waiting to happen. And I think that's a poor plan. And I think we're looking now at this will help us have some time to figure out how to make those things, make the plan better wherever we decide to put the pool. We have some time to try to take care of those glaring deficiencies. And I think in the last plan that was put before the voters. Hopefully we come up with a better product when we come to it. I am concerned, as Ms. Lyons said, that as part of the heat of the referendum, the pro-pool side said that, the pools were going to fall apart any minute now, and our kids' lives were in danger because the pools were unsafe. And if that's the case, maybe Jonathan, you could have our insurance agency come out and check those pools, because if that's the case, then they should not open. I don't think that's the case, but because that was put out there as the gospel truth from that side of the issue, that should be, I think, to allay everyone's fears, that should be addressed.
Yep, definitely. I can.
If that's not the case, then, that was just fear mongering and put out there to try to sway the vote one way or the other. But I heard all, issues that the chemicals were in the water that was gonna, you put your foot in, your foot was gonna fall off because it was gonna burn with bad chemicals, to the sides were gonna cave in, and those things were just disinformation, obviously. But if that's the case, we should have those things addressed.
Okay, couple things. Do you swim at Churchill? I'm just curious. Does it smell bad still? Every day or just some days worse than others? Yeah. I used to work there. It used to smell bad.
I have nothing to do with it.
Okay, I was just curious about that. One of the things we talked about tonight was making the pools more ADA compliant, and it just dawned on me after that was years ago, we talked about adding a lazy river to Churchill Pool maybe, and met with this firestorm of crap, excuse me, but it all came from the fact that this mom who had an older son who was disabled, it would be a good way for him to participate in recreational activities along with his peers. So that's where that all came from, which I still think it wouldn't be all that expensive to add. It's just a current of water. You know, it's not that hard. You could probably turn it off and turn it on and still use the pool, but who knows what will happen to Churchill Pool, but that was one time way back when we've been considering this for 100 years, that was one of the things that came up. The fact that are the pools safe? Bill would never open the pools if they weren't safe. Never, ever, ever open the pools if they weren't safe. I'm sure they are evaluated on a yearly basis and they would never, ever be opened. Allison, I'm sorry, I didn't catch your whole last name. The needs assessment from residents, what I would like to do is before we get into this whole construction phase of building, I would like to have an open invitation to town residents to come in and say, what do you want? What do you want in your pool? As far as where the rock wall came from, that came from the architect who designed our pool. There are strict regulations that come with the rock wall. You had to have a guard right there next to the rock wall. You had to pass a certain swimming test to be able to go off the rock wall. So there were a lot of considerations put into place before that was ever deemed as an add-in or maybe something that could be pulled out of the pool. That was an extra. I know I'm missing some more things here. Garfield not as good for the disabled, could be. I think one of the other things about the Garfield location of the pool, people forget that they're still a parking lot over by the tennis courts that anybody could, and there would be a pathway that you could walk up, and it would still be shorter than getting to Churchill Pool. It's still closer than the parking lot at Churchill Pool and much more level. So I'm sure that there would be a way, even if we had to use our little train to get people from the parking lot over, there would be a way to do it. I'm sure there's a lot of out of the box thinking going on that, you know, would help things along. And as far as missing time, swimming time, if one of the pools had to go down, in the past, kids have used the high school pool to swim in the summer. And I know it's indoors and it's not as fun as swimming outdoors, but it's better than no pool at all, right? So that was another thing that I wanted to mention. Anybody have anything else they want to add? Okay, so our next meeting is when?
Yeah, first Monday in, or the
April.
the fourth Monday in, April, whenever that is.
April 28th, next meeting. All right, make a motion to adjourn?
Second,
Well, we need a motion first.
oh, motion to adjourn. I
No,
thought you were making a motion.
I can't do that.
And I'll
Okay.
second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. All opposed? Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming, everyone. Okay, talk to